Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sonnet with Sonnet's Garden Blooms. I want to thank you all for stopping by. Now in today's video, I'm going to continue the prep for Cranberryfest. So all the items, like the furniture pieces, I worked on today. So I worked on a dresser, I finished those 2 end tables, and I did 2 chairs. Now, all the items that I'm bringing are very lightweight and I have found in the garbage. So roadside trash, folks, that I am turning and flipping into beautiful items that I plan on bringing with me to Cranberryfest. So I hope you enjoyed today's video and I cannot wait to hear what you guys all think. In project 1, I found this old desk in the garbage, and I was on my way to pick my daughter up from softball practice, and I drove by it. After I grabbed her, we went back and we threw it in the back end. I thought right away I was going to take the top off, cut it apart, and make 2 end tables. And that is exactly what I did. So it started off where they had sprayed it black. And when I took that top off, the top was actually kind of wrecked. So I am going to replace the top with something else, and there's no handles. And I did end up finding some. So to start off, if you watched my recent live, we painted the entire piece gypsy green. I then went and I painted the sides white because I was going to use my Roadside decoupage paper, and I'm using the industrial masterboard on the sides. So to do all 6 drawers, it took 2 pieces of the Roadside paper. What I did is I laid it out and I just had a little bit of an overlap on each end, and I just rubbed to make a line, and then I cut each piece out. It was really as simple as that. I use liquid patina to apply the decoupage paper, and what I found was this is the easiest way to apply it. The liquid patina is so perfect, and I work in sections. So I start off just applying a very nice even layer of the liquid patina. I lay down the paper and then I continue on, and I do that in, like I said, sections. It really helps alleviate a lot of the wrinkles in your paper. So while those are drying, I'm going to take my hand sander, change it to 1 so that the speed is not that high, and just distress all the areas like where there's edges or raised areas. And I'm just doing it randomly, not every area. And I also take my sander and I just rub it over all the flat surfaces as well. I just want it to look aged because how I feel is with anything you're painting, it's going to get, especially with me bringing this to Cranberryfest, it is possibly going to get nicked or dinged. And by doing this, it's just already has more of an aged look. And that is what I'm going for here. So now I'm going to use Minwax Poly, and typically I do use Big Top. Unfortunately, I ran out of my own supply, and I had recently sent out quite a few from the website, so I didn't want to take any more of my supply. So I just went and I bought a can of Poly, and I use that for these pieces. So I just apply 1 even coat to all the surfaces, and I'm going to let it dry very thoroughly. I just make sure that it's just nice and even, and sometimes when you're using the poly you get little bubbles, and afterwards I just take my my paintbrush, I just make 1 last swipe to get rid of all of those, and then I'm going to let it dry very thoroughly, and then we're going to go to the next step. Now that the drawers have dried with the Roadside paper, I'm taking just a sanding block and I am going to get rid of the excess paper. So when I cut the paper initially, I just made sure that there was a little bit of an overlap, and that little bit of an overlap, then you just take a sanding block and do a downward motion, and it comes off really nice and clean. And you want to do it when the paper is dry, and it just looks perfect. After you're all done, then you want to apply one more coat of liquid patina to the entire piece, and I just apply a really nice even layer over all the sides. And then what I also did is I distressed the front of the drawers just like I had with the base of the actual end table, and then I did apply one coat of poly. Onto the top, I did not know at first what I was going to use, and I remembered I had cut these two boards for a sign or a couple signs I was planning on making, and I grabbed them, put them on, and they fit like a glove. So these are our new tops. And I'm using dark walnut stain by, I believe it's Minwax as well, and I'm just giving it a really nice even coat. After I'm done, I did let it dry, and then I did apply 2 coats of poly to both of the tops. And I chose dark walnut because of that dark undertone underneath that gypsy green, and I love how this turned out. I love that dark walnut with the gypsy green. I just think it accents it so well. To adhere the top, I am using my brad nailer, and I'm putting a 2-inch brad nail in each of the corners and then in the center, and that gave it enough strength to hold it on there. I lifted it up, tried to play around with it just to make sure, and it definitely held. When I picked this out of the garbage, it did not have any handles. I'm assuming they were really cool, and whoever tossed it took the handles off. I ran to Hobby Lobby, and when they had the 50% off sale, I ended up getting these little knobs, and I thought they were super duper cute. They have this little gold accent on them, and they were perfect for each of the drawers. I was able to pick them up each for $2. So the set of drawers were free, and then the handles were $12, and whatever paint and poly I had put into it, and then the top. For project 2, I had found these in the garbage, and I actually found a total of 6 of them. For Antique Acres, I did paint a couple up there, and I had quite a few people really upset with me that I painted up these beautiful chairs. Honestly, they weren't that beautiful. I made them beautiful by painting them up. If you look, they're very worn and just dingy, And by me adding a little paint, it is definitely transforming them. So today we are using Marquee from DIY, and I am only going to apply one coat. I don't want a super thick layer. My goal here is to make them look worn, old, aged, and I'm just going to apply just a really nice even layer over the entire piece, and then we're going to let them dry very thoroughly and go back, and we are going to distress them to try to bring out that aged look. So here I want to show you as the DIY paint is drying, you can see that it becomes a lot lighter. So anytime you are using DIY paint, once it dries and if you're ready to use it, you do need to seal it with some type of top coat. So like a poly, a big top, or like a wax to completely seal it, and then you're going to bring back that rich color again. Now I'm ready to distress it. So I'm using my hand sander. In many cases, I do wet distressing. I'm outside. I want this done really quick, and I'm using my hand sander on number 1, so the speed is not that high, and I'm randomly just distressing it all over. I want it to look really aged and worn, and that's what I got from from the sander. There's a couple areas where I noticed that a little bit more was taken off, but that was okay. I was okay with it because that was kind of like the look I was going for, just a real aged look. These are probably not chairs that you're going to be putting in your house. I mean, you can, but in most cases, I would think that this would be like a porch sitter, so something decorative that you would have on your porch. Now I'm sealing it with poly, and I'm just doing a nice even coat over the entire piece, just really making sure that I get into each of those little spindles. And with poly, I noticed that sometimes there's like a little gunky buildup, and I just want to make sure that none of that collects. So I'm just watch that very thoroughly too. But now you can see as we're sealing it, it's bringing back that beautiful, rich tone of Marquee. For project 3, I found this on the roadside. I was dropping my daughter off at the mall, and somebody had tossed this baby. I loved the red because I knew right away I was going to use Farm Fresh and make that red pop through for my display. They actually wore off the wheels on those little rollers. I'm so sad. I love finding a piece that has those rollers. But also I have to point out the basketball and the soccer ball and football are actually like a type of transfer. So I'm like, how am I? At first I thought they were stickers, and then I realized they were a transfer. So I actually had to take my hand sander and sand them off. I did not want any remnant of those transfers under my paint. So I did that right away. They came off pretty easy. So I'm also wondering, is that how you would remove our IOD transfers? I have not yet had to do anything like that, but as you can see, I just took the sander and they came right off. I'm using Farm Fresh from DIY, and I love this like turquoisey blue color. It is definitely one of my favorites, and I was going to try to show you how to remove the tops, and it is very hard to do this one-handed. After I got it open, I did apply 2 even coats of Farm Fresh to the entire piece. I had to laugh though, because if you look, below the red is actually a blue, and it was very close to Farm Fresh. So this thing had been painted several times. Because there was so much color on the sides like that, I did decide to clean it up. I painted the edges or the sides of all the drawers white. I hate it when things look real sloppy like that and people have paint every which way. So I took care of that. Now inside the drawers too, oh my gosh, you guys, when I really looked, there was like Jolly Ranchers stuck to the bottom. Somebody had candy canes in there that were stuck. So that was just a challenge in itself, but some soapy water really got it really nice and clean. I had thought about putting like paper contact, like some type of paper in the bottom, but I just decided this is going to be a very inexpensive flip. So here it is after coat 1, and I'm already loving the transformation. It is starting to dry. As soon as it's dry, we're going to put a second coat on, and then we're going to come back and finish her off. Here are the 3 drawers. I completely put 2 coats of paint on them, and then on the sides, like I said, I put 2 coats of white paint, and it just really cleaned them up. And I just didn't like how the blue and red were all over the sides. So now we are taking the hand sander again and just distressing it, and I want a little bit of that red to pop out. Just so that I just really like that, the red and this Farm Fresh. Now I'm going to seal it with poly, and again, just a really nice even coat. And you can see applying the poly or a top coat just really enhances and brings back that rich color. For the final step, I am breaking out my hand sander again and randomly just distressing all the edges here and there. I do just like take the hand sander and I sand all the flat areas like on the side and the top as well. And it's just bringing out a little bit of that red of the previous color of the dresser, and I just wanted to peek out just a tad. I also want some of that wood tone underneath to pop out, which when you sand a little bit in one area, a little bit of that wood pops out too. For our final step, I wanted to add something to the sides of the drawers. I am using the IOD ink and then the IOD stamp, Kindest Regards. And I have gotten so much use out of this stamp, guys. I love it. And I am going to just ink it up and apply it to the sides, and just adding this it just adds so much to the drawer sides. So I lay the stamp down, I rub it very gently. I don't want to move the stamp. I just hold it in place and then rub it, and the ink transfers, and look at that. It's just beautiful. I re-ink just the edge, and just randomly I place that stamp again, and the side is complete. So what did you guys think? I love all of them. I like the red accents that are coming out of the dresser, and how I plan on setting it up is the dresser will be at the very center of the front of the tent. I will have the chairs next to it, which will be perfect because the red will be really like accent the red from the dresser. And I'll have a bunch of barn quilts. I'll have a huge barn quilt over the dresser. I have a really amazing vision that is coming together, and I cannot wait to take you guys along and show you the setup of it, the pack up. So there is going to be one more video, which is Monday. In Monday's video, I am going to be doing a few more flips. And then Friday's video, I am going to try to show you everything that went into pack up and getting ready for it. So like I will be videotaping all day Wednesday and Thursday, which is basically Wednesday I'm going to be like doing last minute gathering, organizing, and then Thursday I'm getting the U-Haul and I'm going to show you how everything that goes into that. So if you haven't been to my channel before, it is all about DIY, thrift hauls, thrift flips, a day in the life of a small business owner. I love taking you guys along on my little adventures like this for Cranberryfest. But if you do like channels like this, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and then turn on your bell notifications so that every Monday and Friday when I upload a video, you'll be notified. And I have been putting out a whole lot more content over on my other socials, so go ahead, follow me over there. This week, or this coming week, I am taking off. I normally do 2 lives, one on Monday, one on Wednesday. I just need to really dedicate all my time and efforts into last minute prep for this show. So we will see you guys Monday, and have a great weekend. Bye.